Students, welcome back to social studies. What have we studied about previous class? We studied about four form of reformation, which are those religious causes, economic causes, political causes, and spirits of inquiry. We studied about four types, right? Yes. Now we'll see about Martin Luther. Martin Luther, I mentioned earlier, came to reject that several teaching and the practices of Roman Catholic Church. Yes, how that rejected that several teachings. It was completely practiced by Roman and Catholic Church peoples. We'll see. He strongly distributed his understanding to the Catholic view that indicates that freedoms of the gods, that punishment in sins could be purchased with money, and he strongly and distributed for what purpose? Yes, he distributed with his understandings, not only understanding of Catholics of a view that educes that freedom of god is the freedom of gods, it finally punished since he could purchase with the money. What all he purchased with the money, so that finally he got for that punishment. A Luther sparks of that a reformation in the year of 1517. What that Luther has did, Luther has did, it was a sparkle off from Reformation. For what purpose? Yes, in the year of 1517, when he posted that at 1905, because of those doors of the church, it was written in by burgers. Yes, actually what happened on those days, it was that completely fifth in the form of a reformation, because if when he posted in 1905. This were the list of statement expressing concerning about the church, a practicing, a particularly the sales indicates and a corruption, money and a monitoring money that clergy. In 1521, Luther was summoned before. Okay, it is nothing but what all they sorted in the 13 years, almost all it was solely statement of that expression, because the church where the participation is important, students. If the church participation is not available, that scale of integers, that corruption might be in the form of that money, they might be a clergy within 1521. Because of what purpose? The Luther was not a Samonated, and he dieted in the form of to explain his religious stance. What he did? He did that diet form of worms. To what purpose? To explain his religious. Yes, so and so my religious. I just trust our religions and join our religious, so that he all that in the form of Simon. The Assembly of Holy Roman Empire, which governed church matters, is called as Diet Worm, was the place of Germany where it was held. Actually, the Assembly of Holy Roman Empire, which it was completely governed. What it happens, the church matters was collected with the Diet of the Worm, which where it was the place particularly, it was in the place of German, where it was held Diet of the Worm. It was held in the place of German. Luther was excommunicated from the Christianity Church by Pope Leon X, where that Luther was excommunicated, like communicated, where the place was Christianity people, by whom? By Pope Leo X. Okay. Yes, Luther remained unpublished. He translated the Bible into the German again. They continued to write, distributing that pamphlets to the people. What he did, he translated that Bible to his German language, and he continued that writing, that distribution, that behalf of the people. What he did after he writing the Bible in the German language, what he started to distribute. Luther viewed that for reaching that impact of German in other parts of Europe. What Luther did, they did the view for reaching that impact of German. Not only the German, he not only wrote that the Bible and he not only issued to the German, he also started to issue in the Europe countries also. The German peasant that Boken reverted in the years of 1524. Yes, what the German peasant the Boken in which year? It was in the year of 1524. Luther churches were established on all over the German. How the Luther became that churches were established all over them because of whom? Because of this Lutheran. Next, we'll see introduction. In introduction, the industrial revolution that took place in that we now what all we studied about information L1. Now we'll go through you in that only subtopic the industrial revolution. For that, we'll go a small introduction. The industrial revolution which took place in the 18th to 19th century, in which periods? In the periods of predominantly agrarian and rural societies of Europe and America, as well as where in which century Indian Revolution has came to took place in 19th to 18th century. On whose period it was? In the periods of period predominantly and agrarians. In where? In rural society of Europe as well as in America. America become industrial and urban. America become both. Which all those? Industrial as well as urban. The prior of that industrial revolution which begins in the Britain in that late of 1700s. After the pre-industrial revolution which begins in Britain, later it begins in Britain in which year later? In 1700 years. For what purpose it begins? Manufacturing and often done with the people's home using that hand tools that basically machine industrialization bought at factories which a mass production took place with the help of machines. As what he did, that manufacturing was oftenly done with these people's homes using that hand tools. It might be in the form of basically tools or that industrialization it brought to the factories which that massly productions of that taking place with the help of what? With the help of machines. What they did in 1700s, they manufacturing few people homes by using what? By using hand tools, like hand tools or the basic machines. And not only that, industrialization bought their factories where their mass production where it took place with the help of machines. As well as next we'll see the industrial revolution began with the Britain. There there were a number of reasons for that. Britain has a great dispersion and coal and iron ore which is essential for industrialization. What Britain has? Britain has deposited coal and iron ore for which? For essential for industrialization, right? Yes. And second one, Britain has had become a political stable and prosperous under this German a monarch Henry VIII and Elizabeth the king encouraged the scientific discoveries and inventions. That's actually what happened. Britain is also become that political stable. Everywhere the political is common, students don't. It's everywhere we can see that prospers everywhere, as well as in Henry VIII that Elizabeth were there. That Elizabeth she was the king of encouraging that scientific discoveries that and inventions. So on that time it has also become that world leading that colonial powder, which mean that colonists could several as a sort of raw materials as well as a marketplace to manufacture the goods. What they did that all over the world of leading that colonial powder, which means it colons in the sources of raw materials. For what purpose? For making the marketplace for manufacturing the goods. And Britain, being that island country, was connected well with the rest of the world by sea. Britain peoples, what they did by the island country, they did to connect with well rest by the world sea. Okay, don't go very brief, just introduction is more enough, those and all no need, so just go. I am also going through once. Okay, at this time the Britain also is again revolution of unexpected, increasing that agriculture productivity, increasing that production of food grains leads to an increasing in population. When they came to the employees in the factories, whenever the employees came to the factories, as well as it is also leads to the implementing of revolution. We'll go through important of inventions, we'll go through at next class. Okay, bye students, meet you at the next class.